Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? No birthday celebration is complete without an after-dinner speech. And to get to the business at hand, in the honoring of one Dr. William Stockton, who's grown 1 year older and will admit to being over 21, I'll cut this short, Bill. In the interest of taste and saving you excess embarrassment, we got this little surprise party together as a very small reminder to you that on this particular street and in this particular town, you are a very beloved guy. There isn't one of us in this room who hasn't put in a frantic phone call to you at some goofy odd hour in the middle of the night. This kid's sick, or that kid's sick, or some crisis or another, and out you'd come with that antique medical bag of yours, half asleep, without even a hesitation, to ease a little pain and make a few parents' hearts beat again. There also isn't one of us in this room who hasn't owed you a whopping bill for a whole lot of months, and I expect there are plenty of us who owe you one now.
What about his hammering at all hours of the night? That's another thing we owe him for.
Yes, the good doctor's bomb shelter. I think we might as well forgive him for this, despite the fact that what he thinks of as farsightedness on his part is a pain in the neck to all the rest of us, with the concrete trucks and the nocturnal hammering and all the rest of it. Anyway, when Grace mentioned that it was your birthday, we took it on ourselves to handle the proceedings. And just as a little personal aside, let me conclude this way. I've lived in this town for 30 years. As you recall, you and I grew up together, went to school together, went in the army together. I became a broken-down accountant, you became a doctor. But we raised our kids in the same block, confiding in each other our personal problems, gave each other a few helping hands along the way. Well, anyway, in this kind of goofy world we live in which we seem quite able to function even with nuclear warheads and hydrogen bombs and germ warfare camped on our front steps, when it appears that this is the only kind of legacy we'll leave in our kids, well, it's a nice and comforting thought that there are still qualities like decency, kindness, gentleness, and friendliness that still hold sway. These are the qualities that you have, Bill. These are what you'll love for the two of you and Grace. And before I get honking into a handkerchief, just let me wind it up this way. Happy birthday, Dr. Bill Stockton, from the gang on the street, and have many, many more.
You dirty dog, you. First a surprise party, which I abhor, and then that sloppy, sentimental speech.
Hey, Pop? Pop?
What is it, Pauline?
The television set just went out.
Good. Crisis. Marty, you're the engineer. What do you know about television sets that go on the fritz?
There are times when such a malfunction is a boon to peace. What happened, Pauline? Picture just went out? Are you still getting sound?
A picture went out, then there was some kind of goofy announcement. Something about...
Hold it, everybody. What did you say, Pauline?
The announcer said something about turning to the Conrad station on the radio.
You must have heard it wrong, Pauline.
I didn't hear it wrong, Pop. That's what he said. Turn on your Conrad station, then everything went blank completely.
Direct from Washington, D.C., repeating that. 4 minutes ago, the President of the United States made the following announcement. I quote, at 11:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our radar stations along the distant early warning line in Alaska reported radar evidence of unidentified flying objects flying due southeast. As of this moment, we have been unable to determine the nature of these objects, but for the time being, in the interest of national safety, must assume that they are enemy missiles flying a course which leads directly to our East Coast industrial complexes. I am therefore declaring a state of national emergency. The Office of Civil Defense has requested all citizens to head for their closest bomb shelter and a further request that all civilian defense personnel report to their prescribed stations immediately. The state of martial law is hereby declared, and no commercial traffic of any kind will be permitted on streets and highways. Repeat, no commercial vehicles of any kind will be permitted on streets or highways. You are asked to remain calm and head for your nearest bomb shelters. Repeat, head for your nearest bomb shelters.
What you're about to listen to is a nightmare. It is not meant to be prophetic. It need not happen. It is the fervent and urgent prayer of all men of goodwill that it shall never happen. But in this place, in this moment, it does happen. This is the Twilight Zone.
This is Conrad. This is Conrad. Repeating an urgent message. Repeating an urgent message. All civilians not engaged in civil defense work are to immediately go to their nearest shelters. If there are no shelters available, stay in the basements of your homes. You are further advised to start collecting all available canned goods and also to fill up containers with water and keep them at hand. Repeat, collect canned goods and water and keep them at hand in cellars and basements. Conrad will leave the air for 5 minutes, but remain tuned to this frequency for further announcements. Repeat, Conrad will now leave the air for 5 minutes. Remain tuned to this frequency for further announcements.
Fill up as many as you can, Grace. I'm gonna start the generator up in the shelter in case the power goes off.
There's hardly any water coming through the tap.
That's because everybody and his brother is doing the same thing we are. Keep it on full force until it stops. Easy, honey, easy. Now make believe it's perfume and it costs $100 an ounce. In an hour or so, it might cost even more than that.
What else, Pop?
All the canned goods down?
All that I could find.
How about the fruit cellar?
I put all those in too.
Get my bag from the bedroom. Put that in there too.
What about books and stuff?
Your father told you to get his bag.
There's time, Grace. There's plenty of time, and we'll need books and things. God knows how long we'll have to stay down there.
I'll get your bag, Pop.
What about light bulbs? Where do you keep the light bulbs?
Top shelf in that cupboard there. Oh, we don't have any. I ran out yesterday. I was going to buy some at the store, and there was a sale. Oh, my dear God, I'm talking like an idiot.
It doesn't make any difference. You can mouth all the idiocies you want to. You can also dance a jig or go up and take a cold shower, just so long as you don't panic, Grace. That's the important thing now. We mustn't panic.
How much time do we have?
There's no telling. Seems to me I remember reading someplace from the first alarm we might have anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour.
15 minutes.
I'm winging it, Grace. I don't know for sure. I don't think anyone does. Keep pouring the water. Pauline, you get my bag?
I got everything, Pop.
Let me give you a hand. Are you out of your mind? Stay inside here. Get down to the shelter as fast as you can.
My bike's
You
outside.
won't need it. Go on down to the shelter.
But if they do drop a bomb or something, it'll burn everything up. I know, Pop. I read it. If it's a hydrogen bomb, why, there won't be anything left standing.
Don't even think about that. Don't let yourself think that. And don't say anything about that in front of your mother. She's fine enough as it is. We may be out of the danger zone. We might be 200 or 300 miles from where the bomb drops. We may not even know that it's dropped and...
4 miles from New York. If they drop a hydrogen bomb, we'll get it too.
If we do, we do. That's all. But for the time being, our job is to stay alive. And you're not going to stay alive running around in the middle of the night trying to find a bicycle. Give me a hand here.
Bill, there's no more water.
It doesn't make any difference. I think we've got enough now anyway. Bring a jug with you, Grace. Pauline and I'll get the rest in a minute. You two stay here. I'll get the rest of the water. There's a 5-gallon can of gasoline in the garage. Pauline, you run out and get that. We'll need it for the generator.
Right, Pop?
I'll get the rest of the water. I just told Pauline, if it's a bomb, there's no assurance that it'll land near us. And if it doesn't, then...
But if it does, if it hits New York, we'll get it too. All of it. The poison, radiation, the whole thing. We'll get it too.
We'll be in a shelter, Grace, and with any luck at all, we'll survive. We've got enough food and water to last us at least 2 weeks. Maybe even longer if we use it wisely.
And then what? Then what, Bill? We crawl out of here like gophers, to tiptoe through all the rubble up above. The rubble and the ruins, and the bodies of our friends. Why is it so necessary that we survive? What's the good of it, Bill? Bill, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be quicker and easier if we just...
I got the gasoline, Pop. Is that all you need from out there?
That's why we have to survive. That's the reason. She may inherit just rubble now, but she's 12 years old. It's too early, much too early to think about a girl dying when she's done so little living. For her, Grace, that's why we have to survive, for our daughter. Pauline?
I got the gas, Pop.
Lay it down there next to the generator. I'll go up and get the rest of the water.
How you doing, Bill?
Collecting water, which is what you should be doing.
We've got about 30 gallons and the water stopped. Did yours stop too?
You better get on home, Jerry. Get into your basement. I'd board up the windows if I were you, and if you've got any wood putty or anything, I'd seal the corners.
We don't have a cellar, Bill, remember? Benefits of modern architecture. We've got the one brand new house on the street. Everything at your beck and call. Everything at your fingertips. And a nice electrical laundry room right off the kitchen. Every wonder of modern science taken into account, except the one product of modern science they forgot. The one that's heading for us now. Bill, can I bring Martha and the kids over here?
Over here?
We're sitting ducks over there. Sitting ducks. We don't have any protection at all.
You can use our basement.
Basement? What about your shelter? That's the only place anyone can survive. We've got to get into a shelter.
I don't have any room, Jerry. I don't have near enough room or supplies or anything. It's designed for 3 people.
We'll bring our own water and our own food. We'll sleep on top of each other if necessary. Please, Bill. We've got to use your shelter. I've got to keep my family alive. We won't use any of your stuff.
What about your own air? Will you bring your own air? That's a 10 by 10 room, Jerry.
Just let us stay in the first 48 hours or so. And we'll get out. Just so we can have a chance during this rough time.
When that door gets closed and locked, it stays closed and locked. There will be radiation and heaven knows what else. I'm sorry, Jerry. As God is my witness, I'm sorry, but I built that for my family.
What about mine? What do we do? Just rock on the front porch until we get burned into cinders?
That's not my concern. Right at this given moment, it's my family I have to worry about.
I am not going to sit by and watch my wife and children die in agony. I'm not going to do that. Do you understand me, Bill? I am not going to do... I'm sorry, Bill. Please forgive me.
I kept telling you, all of you, build a shelter, get ready, forget the card parties and the barbecues for maybe 2 hours a week, and make it admission to yourself that the worst is possible. But you didn't want to listen, Jerry. None of you wanted to listen. To build a shelter was admitting the kind of age we lived in, and none of you had the guts to face that. So now, Jerry, now you've got to find the guts to face something far worse. Not just the possibility that it was easy to live with. Now you've got to face the reality, the ultimate horror. God protect you, Jerry. It's out of my hands now. It's simply out of my hands. It's got to be God.
Bill? Bill, where are you?
They're already in the shelter. I told you they'd be in the shelter. They've locked themselves in.
It's no use, Marty. He won't let anyone in.
Oh, he's gotta let us in. We don't even have any windows in half the basement. And I don't have anything to plug them up either. And the basement wouldn't be any help anyway. Oh, where is he? Is he downstairs? Is he in the shelter? Bill? Bill, it's Marty. We got the kids with us, Bill. Bill? Bill? Bill, please, please.
Marty? Marty, where are you? Lights are off, Marty. Please come back and get us.
Please, Bill, please let us in, please. Please, Bill. Please let us in.
Marty, I would if I could. Do you understand? If it didn't mean endangering the lives of my own flesh, I would. I swear to you I would.
Bill, please. Please, you gotta let us in. You gotta let us in.
I can't, Marty. Don't stay there asking me, because I can't. I can and I won't.
I feel sorry for you then, Bill. I really do. You probably will survive, but you're going to have blood on your hands. Do you hear me, Bill? You'll have blood on your hands.
Bill, you have to let them in.
I can't help it, Grace. It's us or it's them. All my life, I tell you, all my life I've had one function. That was to end suffering. That was to relieve pain. That was to cure. But the rules are different now. The rules, the time, the place. Now there's only one purpose, Grace. That's to survive. Nothing else means anything. And we can't afford to let it mean anything. Marty, get out of here. Do you hear me? Get out of here.
land any minute. I just know it. It's gonna land any minute.
What are we going to do, Frank? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
I'll tell you what we shouldn't do. Moving around here like sheep. We ought to pick out just one basement and go to work on it. Pool all our stuff. Food, water, everything.
It isn't fair. He's down there in a bomb shelter completely safe, and our kids just have to wait around for a bomb to drop in.
Why don't we just go down into his basement and break open the door?
All of us couldn't fit in there. It'd be crazy to even try.
Why don't we draw lots? Pick out one family.
What difference would it make? He won't let us in.
We can all march down there and tell him he's got the whole street against him. We could do that.
What good would that do? I keep telling you, even if we were to break down the door, it couldn't accommodate all of us. We'd just be killing everybody and for no good reason.
If it saves even one of these kids out here, I'd call that a reason.
Gary, you know him better than any of us. You're his best friend. Why don't you go down again? Try to talk to him, plead with him, tell him to pick out one family. Draw lots or something.
One family? Meaning yours, Weiss, huh?
Why not? I got a 3-month-old infant.
What difference does that make? Is your baby's life any more precious than our kids?
I never said that. If you're going to start to argue who deserves to live more than the next one...
Why don't you shut your mouth, Weiss? I don't even know why we let you in the neighborhood anyway. It always happens this way. You let one lousy foreign-born bunch in and everything goes to seed.
You're right. It always comes to that. There's always one person, one rotten, unthinking, garbage-brain idiot like yourself who suddenly has to become the #1 big straw boss and decide what ancestry is acceptable that season.
It still goes, Weiss. We gotta start hunting around for some people to disqualify. You and yours can go to the top of the list.
Keep it up, both of you. Just keep it up. We won't need a bomb. We can slaughter each other.
Marty, go down to Bill's shelter again. Ask him.
I've already asked him. It wouldn't do any good.
Searchlights. It must be coming closer. Anything on the radio?
No.
I'm going down there and get him to open up the door. I don't care what the rest of you think. That's the only thing left to do.
He's right. Come on, let's do it.
Bill Stockton, you got a bunch of your neighbors out here who want to stay alive. Now you can open the door and talk to us and figure out with us how many can come in there, or else you can just keep doing what you're doing and we'll bust our way in there.
No. This is Jerry. I mean business out here.
And I mean business in here. I've already told you, Jerry, you're wasting your time. You're wasting precious time that could be used for something else, like figuring out how you can survive.
Why don't we get some kind of battering ram?
We could go over to Bennett Avenue. Phil Klein has a bunch of 2x4s in his basement. I've seen them.
That would get him into the act. And who cares about saving him? The minute we do that, we let all those people know that there's a shelter on this street. We'd have a whole mob to contend with, a whole bunch of outsiders.
Sure, and what right have they got to come over here? This isn't their street. This isn't their shelter.
This is our shelter, huh? And on the next street, that's a different country. Patronize home industries, you idiots. You damn fools. You're insane now, all of you.
Maybe you don't want to live, Jerry. Maybe you don't care.
I care. Believe me, I care. I'd like to see the morning come too, but you're becoming a mob now. And a mob doesn't have any brains, and that's what you're proving.
I say let's get the battering ram and we'll just tell Klein to keep his mouth shut as to why we want it.
I agree with Jerry. Let's get a hold of ourselves. Let's stop and think for a minute.
Nobody cares what you think. You are your kind. I thought I made that clear upstairs. I think the first order of business is to get you out of here. Come on, let's get son to smash this door down. You had your chance, Stockton. Just remember that. You had your chance.
Bill, who were those people?
Those people? Those are our neighbors, Grace, our friends. The people we've lived with and alongside for 20 years. Come on, Pauline. Let's put stuff up against the door. Everything we can.
We've been asked to once again remind the population that they are to remain calm, stay off the streets. This is urgent. Please remain off the streets. Everything possible is being done in the way of protection. The military and important civil defense vehicles must have the streets cleared. So you're once again reminded to remain off the streets. Remain off the streets. Stop it! Stop it! This is Conrad. This is Conrad. Remain tuned for an important message. Remain tuned for an important message. The President of the United States has just announced that the previously unidentified objects have now been definitely ascertained as being satellites. Repeat, there are no enemy missiles approaching. Repeat, there are no enemy missiles approaching. The objects have been identified as satellites. They are harmless and we are in no danger. Repeat, we are in no danger. The state of emergency has been officially called off. We are in no danger. Repeat, there is no enemy attack. There is no enemy attack.
Thank God. Oh, thank God.
Amen to that.
Hey, Marty. Marty, I went off my rocker. You understand that, don't you? I just went off my rocker. I didn't mean all the things I said. All of us, we were so scared, so confused. Well, it's no wonder, really, is it? I mean, well, you can understand why we blew our tops a little.
I don't think Marty's gonna hold it against you. Just as I hope Bill won't hold this against us. We'll pay for the damages, Bill. We'll take up a collection right away.
Why don't we have some kind of block party or something tomorrow night? A big celebration. How about that? Just like old times. So, we can, all of us, get back to normal. How about it, Bill?
Normal? I don't know. I don't know what normal is. I thought I did once. I don't anymore.
Hey, Bill. I told you we'd pay for the damages.
Damages. I wonder if any one of us has any idea what those damages really are. Maybe one of them is finding out what we're really like when we're normal. The kind of people we are just underneath the skin. I mean, all of us. A lot of naked, wild animals who put such a premium on staying alive that they'd claw their neighbors to death just for the privilege. We were spared a bomb tonight, but I wonder if we weren't destroyed even without it.
No moral, no message, no prophetic tract. Just a simple statement of fact. For civilization to survive, the human race has to remain civilized. Tonight's very small exercise in logic from the Twilight Zone.